This is not an accident. The fact that you're hearing these words right now means something has already shifted in your reality. There's a current, invisible yet undeniable, weaving itself through your life. It's been whispering to you in restless nights, in dreams that feel too real, in synchronicities you can't explain. Most people walk past these signals blind to the doorway they're standing in front of. But not you. You wouldn't be here if you weren't meant to hear this. September 27th is not just another date. It carries an energetic signature powerful enough to reorder your entire trajectory. What's coming is not random. It's precise. And it's asking you one question. Will you leap? This message isn't here to motivate you. It's here to awaken you. To remind you that resistance is not fear. It's anticipation. And what waits on the other side of September 27th will change everything. There is something moving through your life right now that you cannot see, but you can feel. It hums beneath the surface of your ordinary days, shaping your decisions, bending your emotions, and rewriting the way your reality responds to you. You've noticed it already, though you may not have had the language for it. That restless energy in your chest when you wake up before dawn. The strange silence in conversations that once felt effortless. The sudden sense that routines you used to rely on no longer fit you. Like clothes that have shrunk overnight. That's not chaos. That's the invisible current preparing you for a convergence. Think about the last few weeks. Hasn't it felt as if the ground beneath your life was subtly shifting? Like standing on a dock as the tide quietly rises? Opportunities that once seemed bright suddenly lose their color. Goals that used to energize you now leave you feeling strangely hollow. Even relationships may be reconfiguring themselves in ways you didn't plan for. On the surface, it may look like loss, like doors closing, but beneath the surface, something precise and intelligent is clearing space. What's dissolving is everything that cannot travel with you into the version of yourself that's about to emerge. This is why you felt unsettled. Not because you're broken, not because you've lost direction, but because your energy field is recalibrating to frequencies it hasn't held before. You're downloading a future before it arrives. You're receiving a signal from beyond linear time. That restless pull inside you isn't anxiety. It's anticipation. It's your nervous system adjusting to a rhythm that hasn't fully anchored yet. I want you to pause and reflect. How many times have you felt like something was coming, even if you couldn't explain what? That electric charge in the air before a thunderstorm when the world feels thick with possibility. That is what you are living through right now. Only this time it's not weather. It's your life. The result of all this tension, this discomfort is not collapse. It's convergence. You are standing at the edge of a new timeline, a version of reality that has been waiting for you to arrive. The friction you feel is simply the meeting of two forces, who you've been and who you're becoming. Resistance always appears at thresholds, and you, right now, are standing at one of the most significant thresholds of your entire existence. Here's the lesson most people miss. When reality begins to destabilize, when the familiar feels foreign, it isn't a sign you're failing. It's a sign you're moving. Think about it. Resistance only occurs when one force collides with another. The very fact that you feel pressure is proof that momentum is building. You're not off track, you're closer than you think. So instead of interpreting your restlessness as weakness, see it for what it really is. Confirmation. The universe is signaling that you are being aligned with an opening few will even notice, and fewer still will step through. September 27th is not just a date on a calendar. It is the point at which this invisible current, all the shifts you've been sensing, gather into a wave strong enough to carry you forward, if you choose to ride it. But here is where the choice comes in. Many people will retreat from this discomfort. They will misinterpret the turbulence as evidence they are heading in the wrong direction. They will cling to routines that feel safe but stifle growth. They will talk themselves out of trusting what they sense. And when the portal opens, they will miss it, distracted by the illusion of control. You're different. You wouldn't be here otherwise. The very fact that these words resonate with you is proof that your system already knows what your mind is only beginning to grasp. You are standing in alignment with a convergence point. The universe has been preparing you, refining you, even in the moments when you thought you were simply surviving. Every doubt, every setback, every sleepless night has been part of the calibration process. You're not behind, you're right on time. Now, I want you to participate actively in this field. Take a moment and type this phrase into the comments. I trust what I've been sensing. This is not just about typing words on a screen. This is about broadcasting your declaration into the quantum field, anchoring your alignment with what is already unfolding. By making it conscious, you accelerate its manifestation. So here is the question I want to leave you with as we move deeper into this journey. If the invisible current you've been feeling is not random but deliberate, if every restless night, every subtle shift, every moment of unease has been part of your preparation, then what exactly is September 27th preparing you for? Most people believe synchronicity is random, a strange coincidence, a lucky break, a chance encounter that just happens to show up at the right time. But here's the truth. Synchronicity operates according to principles as precise as physics. Just because it feels mysterious doesn't mean it is without structure. In fact, it is one of the most reliable signs that reality is aligning itself for transformation. Think about it. How many times in the past month have you noticed repeating numbers like 1111 flashing across your phone? How many times has a conversation with a stranger mirrored the exact thought you were just having? How many times have you stumbled across a book, a video, or even this message at the exact moment you needed it most? That isn't luck. That's resonance. Synchronicity is what happens when your internal frequency begins to match an external opportunity. Imagine tuning a radio dial. When you're even slightly off frequency, all you hear is static. But when you hit the exact frequency, the signal comes through clear and undeniable. Synchronicity works the same way. Your consciousness emits a vibration, reality responds, and when both are coherent, the universe starts delivering signals perfectly timed that guide you toward what you are becoming. Now here's the shocking part. These alignments don't happen at random intervals. They happen in cycles. They cluster around convergence points, moments where multiple streams of possibility overlap. September 27th is one of those points. The invisible current you've been sensing is building toward that exact day because it is when the timing, the energy, and your readiness intersect. It is a window, and like all windows, it opens and it closes. Most people miss their window because they wait. They wait for absolute certainty. They wait until every detail is mapped out, every fear eliminated, every question answered. But that's not how quantum leaps occur. They don't wait for your convenience. They require your participation when the frequency aligns. September 27th is that alignment. The result of recognizing synchronicity is profound. Suddenly, you stop dismissing the random events of your life and begin to see them as signals. You realize that the conversation you overheard, the dream you had, the number you keep seeing aren't meaningless. They are guidance. They are the universe tapping you on the shoulder, whispering, "Pay attention, something is converging here." And once you shift into that recognition, your entire orientation changes. You stop forcing outcomes, you stop clinging to old structures, you start listening, noticing, aligning. And in that alignment, you discover that life isn't happening to you. It's happening with you. Synchronicity becomes your compass. Here's the lesson. Breakthrough doesn't arrive with a neon sign. It comes disguised as ordinary events, ordinary days, ordinary choices. The difference between those who leap and those who don't is simple: sensitivity. Those who train themselves to recognize synchronicity seize the moment. Those who dismiss it as coincidence walk past their doorway without ever realizing it was there. So let me ask you, what synchronicities have been showing up in your life lately? Which repeating signals have you been tempted to ignore? The universe is already speaking. The question is whether you're listening. Take a moment and share one synchronicity you've noticed recently in the comments. By naming it, you are anchoring your awareness. You are saying to the quantum field, I see the signal, I'm ready to respond. This simple act turns coincidence into confirmation. And now, here is the question that will carry us forward. If synchronicity is precise, if September 27th represents the convergence of multiple streams of possibility, then how do you know if you are truly ready for the leap? The answer is not found in your mind. It's found in your energy. Everyone believes they need to be ready before they can leap. Ready means the plan is perfect. Ready means the risks are eliminated. Ready means the future is predictable. But that's an illusion. Quantum leaps don't wait for you to feel safe. They happen when your energy has aligned, not when your mind feels certain. Think about every breakthrough in history. The inventors of flight didn't wait for absolute proof their machine would soar. Civil rights leaders didn't wait for permission from society before marching forward. Innovators in technology didn't wait until every outcome was predictable. They stepped forward while still uncertain. Because readiness was never about intellect, it was about energy. Look back at your own life. Every moment of true transformation you've experienced, wasn't it preceded by doubt? You questioned yourself. You felt unprepared. You wondered if you were making a mistake. Yet something deeper carried you through. That something wasn't your intellect. It was your energetic field aligning with a possibility larger than your rational mind could process. Here's the truth. Your nervous system has been preparing you for this leap all along. Every challenge you faced that stretched you beyond your comfort zone was part of your training. Every night you lay awake wrestling with doubts was sharpening your inner compass. Every time you chose growth over safety, even in small ways, you were expanding your capacity to hold the frequency of breakthrough. The result is that you've been calibrated. You may not feel confident, you may not feel prepared, but confidence isn't the metric of readiness. Alignment is. And alignment is measured by willingness. The willingness to act with incomplete information, to move forward even when the outcome is hidden, to trust that the field is carrying you into the next chapter of your life. Here's the lesson most people never learn. Intellectual readiness is a trap. It convinces you that once you know enough, then you can act. But the knowing never ends. The mind will always find another reason to wait. Energetic readiness, on the other hand, is about sensing the current and allowing it to carry you forward. It's about recognizing that the tension you feel is not evidence you're failing. It's evidence you're at the edge of expansion. So let me ask you, what are you waiting for? A guarantee? A sign that looks different than the 100 signs you've already been given? Or are you willing to trust that your life has been preparing you for this exact convergence point, even when you don't feel ready? Type this into the comments right now. I am aligned, even if I don't feel ready. This is not about words, it's about energy. By declaring this, you anchor yourself in alignment with the field that is already moving. You shift from waiting to participating, from doubt to declaration. Because here's the paradox, when you stop waiting for intellectual readiness and step into energetic readiness, the clarity you wanted begins to appear. The leap creates the certainty, not the other way around. And so, as September 27th approaches, the real question is not whether you've prepared enough. The real question is this: if your readiness isn't measured by confidence but by willingness, then what does it mean to truly participate in shaping reality? To answer that, we must turn to the very heart of quantum mechanics, the observer effect. In the realm of physics, there is a principle so mysterious, so counterintuitive, that even scientists struggle to explain it fully. It's called the observer effect. At the quantum level, particles don't exist as fixed objects. They exist in a cloud of probabilities, waves of potential, until they are observed. And in the very act of observation, the wave collapses into a single outcome. Now take a breath and let that sink in. Reality at its most fundamental level does not exist in one solid form until it is seen, felt, acknowledged. Your awareness is not just witnessing reality. It is participating in creating it. This is not philosophy. This is physics. But here's where it gets even more profound. You've been experiencing the observer effect in your own life, whether you realized it or not. Think about the last time you sensed something was about to happen. An opportunity, a conversation, a sudden shift. Before it became visible, you already felt it in your body. That sense of anticipation wasn't your imagination. It was your consciousness collapsing a probability wave into form. The result is staggering. Every time you focus your awareness, you are not merely noticing what already exists. You are influencing what comes next. Your thoughts, your emotions, your energy field. They're all part of the observation. And the more coherent your observation, the more powerful your ability to shape reality becomes. This is why September 27th matters. On that day, the quantum field around you becomes hyper-responsive. The boundary between possibility and manifestation thins. Observation carries more weight. Your awareness, your focus, your willingness to notice possibility rather than limitation. It all becomes amplified. It's like standing in front of a mirror that suddenly magnifies everything you project into it. What you choose to observe, consciously or unconsciously, takes form with accelerated speed. Here's the lesson. Most people misuse the observer effect. They look at what already is, and by focusing on it, they reinforce it. They stare at their bank account and observe scarcity, so they collapse more scarcity. They fixate on loneliness, so they collapse more isolation. They obsess over obstacles, so they collapse more struggle. The observer effect is always active, but it does not discriminate between what empowers you and what traps you. It simply amplifies what you give your attention to. But you are different. You are learning to observe not just what is, but what is emerging. You are training yourself to tune into the subtle signals of possibility. Those flashes of insight, those intuitive nudges, those vivid dreams, they are glimpses of timelines waiting for your attention. By observing them, by feeling them, by giving them energy, you invite them into manifestation. So let me ask you, what have you been observing lately? Are you fixating on the static of old patterns, or are you tuning your awareness to the frequencies of expansion? Take a moment right now and declare in the comments, I choose to observe possibility. This is more than affirmation. It is alignment. The quantum field does not respond to hesitation. It responds to clarity. When you state your intention with coherence, you collapse the wave in your favor. The truth is, the observer effect isn't just about your thoughts. It's about your whole being. Observation is not something you do with your mind alone. It is something you do with your body, your emotions, your breath, your field. Every aspect of you is an instrument of observation, and when they play in harmony, the universe cannot help but respond. Which brings us to the next crucial understanding. If your mind is not the only observer, then how do your heart, your gut, and your body participate in shaping reality? The answer lies in coherence. Most people believe the mind is the only instrument of awareness. They assume thought is the primary driver of reality creation. But the quantum field doesn't just respond to thought. It responds to coherence, the harmony of your entire system vibrating as one. And the secret is this. Your body contains 3 centers of intelligence, not one. Let's begin with the heart. Your heart is not just a mechanical pump. It generates an electromagnetic field 8 times stronger than the field of your brain. That field extends several feet beyond your body, interacting constantly with the environment around you. Your heart has its own neural network, its own memory, its own form of intelligence. When you feel gratitude, love, or awe, your heart emits signals that literally alter the structure of your electromagnetic field. In that state, your observation becomes exponentially more powerful. Now, consider the gut. Scientists call it the enteric nervous system. It contains more neurons than your spinal cord. Your gut isn't just digesting food, it's digesting information. It has the ability to sense energy patterns before your conscious mind does. That tightening in your stomach when something feels wrong. That warm expansion when something feels right. These are not random sensations. They are the language of your gut intelligence, guiding you toward alignment. And then, of course, the brain. The brain translates, organizes, and interprets. It is not the conductor, it is the coordinator. It doesn't generate coherence on its own, but when it collaborates with the heart and gut, it integrates their signals into conscious action. The result of this triad is extraordinary. When your heart, gut, and brain are aligned around the same direction, you enter a state scientists call coherence. In coherence, your body and energy field synchronize, your nervous system calms, your awareness sharpens, and the quantum field responds with maximum efficiency. Coherence collapses probabilities into reality faster, cleaner, and with less resistance. Here's the lesson. Fragmentation weakens your signal. When your heart longs for one thing but your mind fears it, your energy field becomes divided. When your gut senses expansion but your brain insists on safety, the field receives mixed messages. And the quantum field simply mirrors that confusion. The key to powerful observation is integration, aligning the intelligence of heart, gut, and brain until they broadcast the same frequency. Now you might be wondering, how do you create coherence? It's simpler than you think. Start by breathing slowly and deeply into your heart space, as if your breath itself were moving in and out of your chest. Bring to mind a memory of genuine appreciation or gratitude, something small, something real. Feel it fully. Notice how your body shifts. Then place your attention on your gut. Ask yourself, does this path feel expansive or restrictive? Notice the sensation without judgment. Finally, allow your brain to translate what you're sensing into a simple intention. One clear phrase you can hold. When these three centers align, you become a living frequency of coherence. So let me ask you, what does coherence feel like in your body? Can you remember a time when your thoughts, your emotions, and your intuition were all moving in the same direction? That is the state you are being prepared to live in, not occasionally but consistently. Take a moment and write this in the comments. I choose coherence. By declaring it, you begin to train your nervous system to hold that frequency. The field listens. And every time you return to coherence, you strengthen your capacity to observe possibility into reality. Because this is the truth. September 27th is not about being flawless. It's not about erasing fear or eliminating doubt. It's about alignment. When the portal opens, what will matter most is not how smart you are or how confident you feel. What will matter is whether your heart, your gut, and your brain are aligned enough to act together as one. And that leads us to the next revelation. To step into the convergence point, you must let go of the version of yourself that no longer fits. A new identity is waiting to emerge, but the old one must dissolve first. Before every true transformation, there is a death. Not a physical one, but an identity death. The self you have been, the one who built your current life, who created your present patterns, cannot cross the threshold into the reality that's waiting for you. Something has to dissolve so that something greater can emerge. You've already felt it. That strange sensation of looking at your own life as if it belongs to someone else. The routines that once grounded you now feel like a cage. The relationships that used to define you suddenly feel foreign. The goals that once drove you now seem empty. It feels like the floor is being pulled out from under you. But in truth, it's just the scaffolding of an old identity collapsing, clearing space for what's next. Think of it this way. A snake sheds its skin not because the skin is bad, but because it no longer fits. A caterpillar dissolves into liquid inside its cocoon before becoming a butterfly. The old structure has to break down completely before the new form can appear. You are in that cocoon now. The disorientation, the uncertainty, the restlessness, it is all part of identity death. The result of allowing this process is profound. Once the old self dissolves, what emerges is not a stranger. It is the truest version of you, the one who has been hidden beneath layers of protection, fear, and compromise. The courage you developed through difficulty, the compassion you learned through heartbreak, the resilience you earned through challenge, all of it comes with you. What falls away are the limitations, the patterns, the defenses that no longer serve your expansion. Here's the lesson. Identity death is not a loss. It's liberation. The fear you feel in this phase isn't fear of the future. It's fear from the parts of you that sense their time is over. Those protective mechanisms, those survival strategies, those outdated versions of yourself. They don't want to be left behind. They resist, they tighten. They tell you stories to keep you safe, but their fear is not your truth. Their fear is the echo of a self that is dissolving. This is why September 27th feels so intense. You're not just approaching an energetic convergence. You are standing at the funeral of an old self. And funerals always carry both grief and celebration. The grief of letting go, the celebration of what's about to be born. So let me ask you, are you willing to release the version of yourself that built the life you are now outgrowing? Are you willing to let go of identities that kept you safe but small? Because only then can you step into the expansion waiting on the other side. Take a moment right now and write this in the comments. I release who I was. I welcome who I am becoming. This is more than words. It is an energetic choice. By declaring it, you accelerate the process of integration. You honor the wisdom of the past while stepping into the frequency of your future. Because this is the paradox. You cannot carry your old self across the threshold, but you can carry the wisdom. You cannot take the armor, but you can take the strength. You cannot bring the cage, but you can bring the wings that grew in its shadow. And that leads us to the most important understanding of all. September 27th is not simply about endings, it is about convergence, multiple streams of possibility colliding into a singular opening. The portal is not abstract, it is precise, and when it arrives you will have a choice, to hesitate or to leap. September 27th is not a date, it is a doorway. To the untrained eye, it will look like an ordinary day. Just another Wednesday, just another set of conversations, just another routine. But beneath the surface, currents are colliding. Multiple streams of possibility are merging into one powerful convergence. The energy is not waiting for anyone's convenience. It is arriving on schedule, and the question is not whether it will happen. It's whether you will step through. Imagine standing at the base of a staircase that disappears into mist. You can't see the top. You don't know how many steps there are, but you know with certainty that this staircase leads to something greater. Most people will stand at the bottom waiting for the mist to clear. They'll wait for guarantees, for perfect timing, for the illusion of certainty. But the ones who transform, the ones who leap, are those who place their foot on the first step even when the rest of the staircase is invisible. The result of taking that step is not immediate perfection, it's momentum. Once you move, the staircase begins to reveal itself. One step appears, then another, then another. This is how the quantum field works. It doesn't hand you the full map in advance. It responds to participation. It reveals itself as you walk. Here's the lesson. Aligned timing is everything. Perfect timing is an illusion. If you wait for the right conditions, the window closes, not because you're unworthy, but because the alignment reorganizes. The same currents that create the opening today will flow into new patterns tomorrow. That's the nature of convergence. It's temporary. It demands presence. It demands courage. This is why resistance has been so strong in your life lately. The friction you've been feeling isn't a sign you're failing. It's the pressure of two realities colliding, the one you're outgrowing and the one you're stepping into. That tightness in your chest, that restlessness at night, that surge of unexplained emotion. Those are not accidents. They are contractions before birth, signs that something new is pushing to emerge. So let me ask you, when September 27th arrives, will you recognize it? Not as a date on the calendar, but as a convergence in your life. Will you be willing to step forward without seeing the whole path? Will you trust the signals you've been sensing all along? This is your invitation. Take a moment right now and write in the comments, "I trust the leap." By doing so, you are not just interacting with the video, you are broadcasting your intention into the quantum field. You are declaring that you are willing to move beyond hesitation, beyond fear, beyond the need for guarantees. You are signaling readiness to step into the unknown. Because here is the truth. Those who will look back on September 27th as their turning point won't be the ones who felt most confident. They'll be the ones who acted despite uncertainty. They'll be the ones who trusted aligned timing more than perfect timing. They'll be the ones who chose coherence, integration, and courage when everything in them wanted to wait. This is not about becoming flawless. It's about becoming available to the conversations that redirect your trajectory. Available to the relationships that carry hidden keys. Available to the opportunities disguised as ordinary choices. Available to the version of yourself who has been waiting quietly beneath the surface of your old identity. A year from now, the person listening to these words will barely recognize the self who hesitated today. Not because you will become someone else entirely, but because you will finally embody who you've always been beneath the layers of fear and compromise. That is the gift of convergence. It reveals you to yourself. So remember this. September 27th is not about magic. It is about alignment. It is about the precise intersection of energy, timing, and readiness. The portal is opening. The currents are colliding. The choice is yours. The question is simple. When the convergence arrives, will you leap? If these words have awakened something deep within you, then you already know. You were never here by accident. September 27th is your convergence point, your invitation to leap into the unknown. So here is your moment to respond. Type this phrase into the comments right now. I trust the leap. Let it be your declaration to the quantum field, your signature that you are ready to move beyond fear and step into alignment. And if you feel the resonance in your chest, don't stop here. Subscribe, not just to this channel, but to this frequency. Stay connected to the current that brought you here, so that you never again mistake turbulence for failure or uncertainty for weakness. Share this video with someone who has been sensing the same shifts, because the more of us who align, the stronger the field becomes. The portal is open, the current is moving, the leap is yours to take.